Today we're covering Review 19, Multiplying and Dividing Integers. And you'll probably find this page called Rules for Integers in your notes. Now some of you have it filled in and you can just follow along with us, and others need to be filling it in as we go. So if you have a blank page, you're going to need to write this down. Today we are talking about multiplying and dividing integers. So those are the only rules we're going to talk about. There is a rule for if both the digits have the same sign. So if they're both positive or they're both negative, then the answer is positive. For example, if we were multiplying -2 times -4, my answer would be +8. And sometimes they put this second number in parentheses, and that's just to help you see the negative sign better. It's kind of like when there's a negative person and we just want to put them in a little parentheses all by themselves so they don't get it to other people. Now, there is a rule for when they have different signs. So like if one is positive and one is negative. If they have different signs, the answer is negative. For example, if we had -54 divided by +6, the answer would be a -9. So if that's not already written in your notes, you need to copy that down. And let's go to Review 19 Guided Practice. Number 1. It says find the product, and product just means the answer to multiplication. The first one is -3 times +4. They have different signs, so the answer is going to be negative. 3 times 4 is 12. On the next one, the signs are the same, so the answer is going to be positive. But usually if the answer is positive, we don't put a plus sign, we just put the answer. So -9 times -5 makes 45. The next one is 0 times -3. Now 0 is special. He's not negative or positive. So 0 times anything is just 0. Which is not positive or negative, it's just 0. The next one is 2 times -4, which would be -8. Then -8 times 5, the numbers are different, the signs are different, so the answer is going to be -40. So take it like 2 numbers at a time. 4 times -10 makes -40. Then -40 times the -12, the signs are the same, so this time it's going to be positive. What is 40 times 12? Think about what's 12 times 4. 48, and then you have to add the other 0. -1 times -2, that makes +2. Then +2 times -3, different signs, -6. On number 2, we want to find the quotient. Quotient means the answer to division. So we have -33 divided by +11. The signs are different, so the answer is going to be negative. And 33 divided by 11 makes negative 3. 98 divided by negative 14. Different signs. Answer will be negative. And 98 divided by 14 is 7. So it's negative 7. Next one, negative 108 divided by 12. They're different signs, so the answer is negative. And 108 divided by 12, that's 9. $201 divided by negative 67. Well, the signs are different, so the answer is going to be negative. And then what times 67 is going to make 201? Need to have something bigger. 3. So negative 3. Negative 54 divided by negative 18. The signs are the same, so the answer is going to be positive. And 18 times what gets me 54? 2 is too small, so let's try 3. 18 times 3, 54. So that's positive 3. And then positive 242 divided by negative 2. I'm going to take half of each one of those numbers. When you divide by 2, that's just taking half. Since they're different signs, it's going to be negative. And half of the first 2 is 1. Half of 4 is 2. And half of the other 2 is 1. 242 divided by negative 2 is negative 121. Number 3. We're supposed to solve that. First, we need to do what's in the grouping symbols. And these little things right here are grouping symbols. They are called absolute value. So we need to do what's inside first. So 12 divided by negative 6 makes negative 2. Now, absolute value means how far it is from 0. So like how many spaces is negative 2 from 0? And the answer is always positive. So the absolute value of negative 2 would be positive 2. So negative 2 times positive 2 makes negative 4. Number 4, we're going to solve that one. So first we're going to do what's on top. I'm going to take it 2 numbers at a time. So 5 times negative 2 makes negative 10. Negative 10 times 4 makes negative 40. So that's what's on top, negative 40. And then I think my grouping symbols are a little messed up, but we're still going to do what's inside the grouping symbols. 5 times negative 2 makes negative 10 again, divided by positive 2. So negative 10 divided by positive 2 makes negative 5. So negative 40 now divided by negative 5 will make a positive 8. Number 5. The temperature dropped by 5 degrees each day for 6 days. Write and solve an equation to determine the overall change in temperature. Okay, it's going to drop. If it's dropping, that's negative. So negative 5 each day, that's keyword for multiply, for 6 days. So negative 5 times 6, which equals negative 30. Number 6. The population has decreased by 300 residents over the past 5 years. The same number of residents left each year. What was the change in the town's population each year? Okay, if each is in the question, that's usually division. Okay, so it decreased, that would be negative, so negative 300 over 5 years. So we're dividing negative 300 by 5. And we don't have to do it out long division. Think about how many times would 5 go into 30? 6 times. And then there's one more 0. And they have different signs, so my answer is negative. Number 7. After being exposed to an electric magnetic shrinking machine, Joe's height decreased by 120 centimeters over 1.5 seconds. How much did Joe's height change each second? Okay, if it decreased, that's negative 120. And again, look, there's each in the question. That's key that we're going to be dividing. So we're dividing by 1.5. And 120 divided by 1.5. Remember, you have to move the decimal over. So we move it over here. Means we're going to need a 0. 15 doesn't go into 1. It doesn't go into 12. So how many times does 15 go into 120? 8 times. And 15 times 8 is 120. Okay, but we can't just say 8. We have to go to the next 0. How many times is 15 going into 0? 0, with nothing left over. So the answer is 80. But we had different signs, so it's negative 80. Number 8. Evie started exercising 4 weeks ago. Since she started exercising, she lost 1.5 kilograms each week. What is her total change in weight? Now notice there's each, but this time it's not in the question. That means we're probably going to be multiplying. So we're multiplying 1.5 times 4. Oh, those fraction rules never go away. So first thing we need to do is Texas, or around the world. So 2 times 1 plus 1 makes 3 over 2, and this was negative, times, to make a whole number into a fraction, we just put a 1 under it. Okay, now do you see there is something we could simplify? Yes, the 2 and the 4. 2 divided by 2 makes 1, and 4 divided by 2 makes 2. Then we go straight across. Negative 3 times 2 makes negative 6. And then 1 times 1 makes 1. And negative 6 over 1 is just the same as negative 6. Now let's look at some of the problems you're going to do on the independent practice. Remember, if they have different signs, the answer is going to be negative. But if they have the same signs, the answer is going to be positive. And you don't have to put the positive sign, just the number. Okay, same thing for number 2. Quotient means we're dividing. So if they have different signs, the answer is negative. And if they have the same signs, the answer is positive. On number 3, you need to work what's inside the absolute value first. And remember, the answer to that is going to be positive. Absolute value is always positive. On number 4, you do what's in parentheses. So 4 plus 5 makes 9. And then 9 times negative 2 makes negative 18. And then you do what's on bottom. 3 times negative 3 makes. And then what is negative 18 divided by negative 9? Same signs. Answer is going to be positive. Number 5, Jared lost $460. Lost means negative. Over 2 months. Determine the change in Jared's investment for each month. So each is in the question. That means it's probably division. Number 6, my favorite question. Grandpa Ernie is shrinking. Last year, his height decreased by a total of 0.4 centimeters. Decreased means that's negative. If it decreases by the same amount each year, what will be the overall change in Grandpa's Ernie's height in 6 years? That's not technically in the question, so that's probably multiplication. And then number 7, that looks a little bit different, but it says solve for C. So that's negative 15 divided by something equals negative 3. What would we have to divide negative 15 by to get a negative 3? Whatever we would have to divide negative 15 by, that would be the answer. Number 8, a pipe system for a new construction needs to be 8 feet below ground level. That means it's negative. The machine digs down 2 feet. Again, down, that's negative. How many digs will the machine need to make in order to reach the depth for the pipe system? So each time we're going to be going down 2 feet. How many times is he going to have to dig? That is division. And it says same sign, so the answer is going to be positive.